And welcome back to Let's Talk Juggling. We have our next juggling personality of the day joining us, Willow Solow. Welcome.
Hi. How are you?
How are you today?
Good. Fabulous.
You're joining us all the way from the US.
Yes, I live in Oakland, California.
In Oakland, California. When did you arrive?
I arrived on the 24th, and I've been on a houseboat in Amsterdam, loving life, before coming to EJC.
Oh, very nice. Have you been to EJC before?
Yes, last year was my first in Brunnik, and I continue to be impressed. This year's organization is just blowing my mind. It's really nice.
Yeah, they're very different conventions, aren't they, from last year to this year?
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. So tell us about your life as a juggler, Willow. What's your story?
Yeah, my story. So I started with object manipulation in general, I think in 2010 in August, and it was at a summer camp that I was working at. So I was still 1 year left in my degree, and I had a summer to do something, and I thought, okay, I want to work with some people and learn some new skills. I went to summer camp. I saw poi there and was like, wow, that's really interesting. And before I knew it, I was kind of carrying them with me everywhere, practicing all the time. And I think I was really lucky, just without knowing it at that time, I was kind of in an incubation chamber for practice, where during summer camp, I had a lot of time and I had this portable hobby that I could take with me and practice everywhere. Then I went back to school for my remaining year in university, and I just practiced like so many hours every day, and I accelerated quickly in my skill, and then had another couple years after that at summer camp teaching many different people of all different age groups, and yeah.
You attended the summer camp, and then now you go back as a counselor.
I don't work there anymore.
You don't anymore, but you did when you first.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll go back and I'll actually train their new staff on juggling and spinning, and then sort of share with them how to teach kids in a summer camp setting these art forms. Yeah.
Okay. And what are you doing? What do you do now then? What's the main thing that you're involved with now?
Yeah. So now I live in Oakland, California, in a place called the Vulcan, which is like a really nice hub for jugglers and spinners in California. Many people flying from around the world to the United States actually stop there, and they'll stay at my house, where we have a big practice space and like 30-foot ceilings, and it's really good. This place in Oakland has seen a lot of innovation for the spinning world. Like maybe you've heard of Vulcan Tech Gospel, which is sort of a notation and like construction system for how to spin props. So I live there. And I work as a photographer and a web designer, and then pretty much with all the rest of my time, I'm juggling. Yeah.
So we've been talking in the panel earlier about the fusion of juggling and flow arts. I'm not sure if you were able to hear some of the questions that we were asking there, but we were. What is juggling to you and flow arts to you, and what do you think about this? Is there a difference between them, or is it about terms and?
Yeah. I thought there were some really good points brought up by everybody, and I have so much respect for each of them as people. I really like Asaf. His videos in my early days of poi spinning were like one of my biggest inspirations. Richard always impresses me with his knowledge, and Morton as well, like incredible contact poi spinner. So it's good to see their perspectives on that. I think they drew some really good points about trying to dissolve the line and the boundary that people put between flow arts and juggling. The way that I like to adopt these terms for the most benefit is juggling as an umbrella term that means kind of object manipulation in general. So this would include all props. Juggling is when you take a spoon and you use it for your cereal and then like flip it and balance it on your nose also. And it's poi, and it's these other things that some people designate as flow arts. The benefit though to recognizing flow arts as a thing is, I think, giving more focus and more sort of forum to this idea of flow, which is a very relevant, very powerful, well-researched psychological concept.
Can you expand on that a little bit? Like, explain to the viewers who perhaps have heard the term but haven't looked into it or dug deeper. What does it mean?
Yeah.
Or what is this research that you're referring to?
Right. So most people can refer to flow in their own life. I think one that I really think about a lot is doing dishes. There's like this state that you can get in if you just have a really nice, thoughtless absorption with the task, where your emotions kind of seem to go away and your concerns for other things in your day and in your life kind of disappear, and you're just doing. And this is actually an idea that's been explored a lot by a well-known psychologist named Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, and it's really difficult to spell. But if you search flow on Google, you can find it easily. And it's a really, really good book that doesn't actually talk about juggling or spinning or anything like that, but it's called Flow, and it talks about the research that's been done on this state of mind and how it's used in occupational therapy, things like that. It's really a lovely read.
Yeah, we did actually touch on this in the health benefits of juggling show as well, which was really nice because that was coming from a juggling perspective of coming to this understanding that there is some element. We were referring to it as a meditative practice or concentration focus, but I think what it is that you're describing is could very much be this flow thing. So it sounds like a little bit of a crossover to me.
Yeah, this meditative practice, I think, to just go ahead and talk about what kind of flow arts and juggling could give to the world, and how jugglers can better recognize the impact of flow arts as well. I think that there's a lot of value in recognizing flow arts or juggling in general and all object manipulation as a meditative practice. I understand that now it's very much under the umbrella of circus, and kind of all of these things are usually talked about within the context of performance art, which in itself has great value. But I also have learned in my own experience with my practice and watching other people's experience that there's so much inherent value in practice itself. And in the state of flow for one's own happiness and well-being, it's an invaluable thing. And if poi or juggling or clubs or whatever prop does that for you, then it's a beautiful thing, and you are a flow artist, I guess, as flow artists would say, whether you want to be referred to that or not.
So you're also involved in. Thank you for your comments on that. I think it's
Yeah.
very interesting. I think the viewers are going to find this very interesting and talk about this a lot more. You're working on a project at the moment called Spin More Poi. Can you explain to us what is that about, and what should we
Yeah.
look out for with that?
Yeah, so spinmorepoi.com is a simple web utility that I've kind of developed out of a need that the poi community has. I've had a lot of people tell me that it's needed for other props as well, but I only know one really well. So basically, there's a lot of fluff and a lot of videos on YouTube of people spinning poi that don't have so much value for learning, for the maybe for the new spinner or for the advanced spinner or what have you. So with the many hours that I've sunk into watching all the poi videos online, I've kind of collected them, and I've created a feed that categorizes poi videos, and I've done other things with the website, like create a curriculum for learning, sort of through my practice, developed a nice linear progression of moves that if people want to learn and really go far with poi, they can watch these different videos.
So it's like your one-stop shop for poi in a very structured way, and you can, depending on where you're at, you can go there and be very clear about
Yeah,
where you can go.
exactly. There's a poi simulator on there, so you can like plug in patterns and see what things look like when you're using different polyrhythmic combinations. Or there's an app also for iPhone and for Android. It's really simple. It's just a button, and it plays a random quality poi video.
Okay, wow, that sounds. I definitely everyone should check that out. I think because if you've created a model that can be helpful for other props as well, definitely something to keep an eye out
Yeah,
for.
for sure.
So what apart from working obviously continuously on this project, any plans for the coming year for you, Willow?
Well, I don't ever perform, and I think probably next year I'll finally work on a performance. It scares me a little bit, and it's not something that I'm really looking at for my practice. I really like just getting tricks and drilling, as it says on my shirt. But yeah, everyone around me does it, and I see it just growing who they are and their lives enormously. So I'd love to relate, and think I'll try that in the next year.
Fantastic. Well, I will definitely keep out for it, and viewers, you should keep out for it as well. I think it would be really nice. Willow, thank you so much for joining us,
Thank
and
you.
I hope you enjoy the rest of the EJC.
Yeah, you too, Lisa.
Thank you.